Hello, this is a Sage Ventress. If I were you, I'd listen to Star Wars Reaction, or else you might get a little visit from moi.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
In 1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. All
One of resistance,
we are the spark that'll light the fire that'll bring the First Order down.
rebellion,
Rebellion is built on hope.
and redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of Star Wars Reactions. We're so happy you are joining us this week as we continue our exploration of Maul Shadow Lord. It's going to be a great episode. We got two fantastic chapters to explore, chapter 7 and 8. So a lot to talk about. So we're going to jump into things quickly here and let's get some introductions out of the way. My name is Aaron Harris, and joining me is the man. He's the myth. He's the legend. He is the Chewie to my Han. He is the David Motters. David, brother, how you doing?
I am doing great. Dude, your introductions, I just thank you. I just wish my wife saw me so good. It's like, the man, the myth, the legend. I'm like, she needs to listen to this. But no, man, I'm ready to react. I'm excited, and I'm chomping at the bit to cover these two episodes with you.
Well, I'll go back and I'll put together a sizzle reel from the last 242 episodes with all the intros for you. And you can, anytime she's giving you a hard time, you just hit play and go, this is what everybody else thinks.
I love it. I love it. It will help my marriage. Oh my gosh.
Oh, well, let's jump into this because we got two fantastic chapters to cover for Maul Shadow Lord. We are covering chapter 7, which was entitled Call to Oblivion, directed. I'm getting old. I need glasses.
Hey.
There we go. I can read the notes now. Call to Oblivion, directed by Nate Villanueva. I like that name, Villanueva. Written by Julia Cooperman. Synopsis for this particular episode is: as enemies close in, Maul is forced to make a stand. Then we have chapter 8, The Creeping Fear, directed by Saul Ruiz, written by the fabulous Jennifer Corbett. And this episode is: a hasty escape plan proves dangerous while an isolated Maul regroups. Bum, bum, bum. And of course, both of these episodes released on April 27th of 2026. Can you believe we're in May today? When this episode releases, it'll be May 1st.
Yeah, it's gone. First 4 months of 2026 gone.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. So, but anyway, so let's jump into initial reactions to Call of Oblivion and the Creeping Fear. David, I'm going to turn the floor over to you, my friend, and give us your initial reactions.
Definitely. Over the first 6 episodes, I mentioned I've used a lot of superlatives, and well, all these 2 episodes deserve all those superlatives, all that previous praise, and more. I've said it, I'm so impressed for numerous reasons, and maybe the biggest reason is that this series is proving it is a story that needs to be told. Even Sam Witwer said in some of the press stuff before the series dropped, he says, if there isn't something new or different to say about Maul, then why do it? And learning more about Maul's trauma journey is not only compelling to watch, but hopefully it'll help people to know what trauma is, to not keep it secret and not let it lead them down a path of anger and revenge. And so There's a lot of entertainment, but a lot to learn here, and so I continue to just be so impressed. How about you?
Oh man, initial reactions for 7 and 8 are just I'm speechless with these episodes. Really, with this series, Maul Shadow Lord is probably the best put together continuous story that we've seen in animated Star Wars. They say the same thing. They say Andor. If you poll people, a lot of people will say Andor is the best live action show Disney has done, um, and it's pretty much a continuous story. Um, I would put the story, the plot, the writing in this right up there with Andor. It is just absolutely incredible. The story that's being told, the depth of the story being told, the psychological aspects of it is just tremendous. There's just so much going on. We always knew Maul, especially from seeing him the Return in the Clone Wars, was a very tortured soul, but daggum,
Hmm.
this really puts it into a whole new perspective. But I mean, I was blown away by these episodes. They were just they hit perfectly on so many levels, um, which is why it's just yeah, I heard before these episodes released and that all the majority of the creatives kept saying this is probably some of their favorite. These two episodes were their favorite, and I can understand why. Absolutely, I can understand why. So, so yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic,
definitely.
fantastic story. Um, so let's jump into uh, the talking points here, and we start off with action going on. We ended it with them escaping, with Maul, Devon, and Riley escaping Merrick on the subway, and it picks up after that happens with them walking through the subway. Then, of course, ends up leading to a fight in the lair, for starting off between Devon and Maul, and then Maul and everybody versus the Empire showing up. Um, Absolutely incredible battle there in at that with that opening. It just they wasted no time jumping into it. What were your thoughts on the opening of episode 7 there?
Oh my gosh, Aaron, just incredible action at the second layer here, right? The
Mm-hmm.
second layer that has this, bridge that goes out and stops, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool looking. And, something I was going to mention last week when we were recording is I don't know about you, but I love the sound of those Republic gunships. Just the
Mm-hmm.
sound of them is so cool. Kind of like the speeder bikes and the sounds they
Yep.
make. But one of the things I've noticed is I know we're a couple years after Order 66, but I'm telling you, it seems like the Empire has so many stormtroopers, has so many Republic gunships coming down. It just makes the tension so much higher, And when you see Maul and then Icarus and Scorn, just with which one is it? Icarus has the Gatling gun kind of
Yep.
thing that shoots right through the cockpit. Just incredible. Comes down. Then you got another gunship that comes down to replace it. It's so good, man. Um, yeah, Riley being taken, um, Devin having to fight with Maul for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then ultimately her escaping and leaving. But just that fight out there, I can't imagine how much time and effort it takes to animate that, put the sounds in, laser blast, swords. Oh, it's incredible, man. So just kicks off with a bang, and then, of course, you and I know it continues from there.
Oh, yeah, it definitely escalates, and this opening battle leads to Devon making her break from Maul, because before the fight starts, Riley's talking to her. Why are we following this guy? Do you trust
Mhm.
him? He's like, no, he's a murderer. You can't trust a word he says. then why are we following him? And it led me to, and it kept popping into my head, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Mhm.
And we see that, we see Devin wrestling with that through this opening sequence. She follows Maul because they need to make their escape from the Inquisitor. They plan on making their break when they get back to base. They try to make their break. Then we see Maul's cut them off. Then the fight between Maul and Devin. Then, of course, we see as the stormtroopers show up, you see Devin just kind of give in and jump in, help and fight side by side with Maul,
Mhm.
taking on the Empire, trying to. And she the reason she did that too is because she saw Riley hiding, so she was trying to fulfill her vow of protecting Riley, which she ended up failing at because he ended up being captured, and she tries to rescue him, and that's what leads her to being separated, ultimately leading back to her reuniting with Lawson and uh, Master Daki.
Wow.
But in the meantime, we see that battle. While that battle's raging on, we see that Merrick, who is not in part of the battle yet, is at the police base. And while he's at the police base, he's informed of the attack, and he takes off walking away from the officer who tells him. And you think at that point he's heading toward it, but then it cuts to a different angle, and you see a very recognizable shuttle
Mhm.
coming in for a landing. And at that point, the shuttle ends. And of course, this is the same Imperial Inquisitorius shuttle that we saw in the Kenobi show.
Mhm.
Brick comes in and lands and brings us another Inquisitor, the one nicknamed the Crow.
Yes, yes.
And of course, this is the same one we saw in the Ahsoka arc of Tales of the Jedi. We know we know he meets his fate there
Mm.
in Tales of
Yeah.
the Jedi. So we know somehow he will survive this show. But he shows up and they go right to work in this. What were your thoughts when you saw when the Crow showed up?
Yeah, I put this in our show notes that I just, the way that they have portrayed Merrick. I said Merrick. I like how you said it. I think Merrick. I don't know the official. We said it last, like right on hand. Leia. What I know
You
all the
say
different.
tomato, I say tomato. You say potato, I
Yeah,
say potato.
Marak. I like Marak, like you were saying, but he is, I feel, more intimidating, scarier, and a more formidable foe, and even kind of a detective himself. We said that I think last week.
Mm,
In this than in the live action Ahsoka.
yes.
Same thing with the Crow. The Crow, when Ahsoka defeats him, it seemed very similar to her defeating Merrick in the Ahsoka show. Now, what we don't see in Tales of the Jedi is when she takes care of the Crow, we just see the mask deflate, right, or just the head
Mhm.
or whatever. I I do wonder if both of them at some point do die in this, right, by Maul or Devin or whatever, and both are reanimated, right, with Dathomir witch magic, right? And because we see the green smoke come out of Merrick and Ahsoka when he's
Mhm.
cut, and everyone's like, "What? What's going on?" And that took me back again to Tales of the Jedi when we see Ahsoka defeat him. We're like, "Wait, what? Where? How did he just kind of dissipate?" So both of them kind of do that. Now I don't really remember green smoke coming out of the Crow in Tales of the Jedi. Do you, buddy?
No, he it didn't. But I would argue that he's not that doesn't happen because
Okay.
with Merrick and Ahsoka versus this series, Merrick is a lot more animated, a lot more. He's very robotic in Ahsoka, and he never says a word. He has
Right.
spoken multiple times in this.
Good point.
Whereas the Crow, speaks in this, but in Tales of the Jedi, what's the first thing he says when he sees Ahsoka? The Padawan lives. You're alive. And proceeds to have a conversation and fights her. And his movements are a lot more fluid than Merrick's was in Ahsoka. So I say he's alive in
Okay.
Tales of the Jedi. There was
Okay.
no evidence of the mist, and he wouldn't be the first person that got cut down that just vanished.
Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. Or are you thinking of somebody else that I'm not
Yeah.
thinking of?
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But
anyways, I was just wondering about that. So, like when you asked me about both, I'm telling you, I just like both of them because you'd
mhm.
asked me about the crow coming.
Yeah.
I really love them in this so much more than in Tales of the Jedi and in Ahsoka live action.
Oh, absolutely. I do sure do. And of course from there they go and they join the fight on another bridge, cutting Maul
Yes.
off from his ship, where he was trying to make his escape with his remaining forces. And he ends up taking on Merrick and the Crow on his own, which is a spectacular lightsaber battle. And the whole
Mhm.
time that's going on, we got this incredible blaster fight between Rookcast and the Mandalorians and everybody, and the
Oh, oh,
oh, and the Empire on the bridge. It is just such an intense scene of action through this whole sequence. It's crazy incredible. And what were I mean, we'll go into more detail later on in this battle, but what were your thoughts when Merrick and Crow showed up on that bridge and
oh,
Maul just gave in and launched himself into that attack?
it was just great. I mean, I remember seeing a little clip of this bridge in the trailer, and you're like,
Yeah.
wait, you can't see it. You can't see it close. Who's fighting who? It looks like people are shooting both directions. I'm like, who is that? What's going on? Now we know what it is. It's stormtroopers from both sides.
Mhm.
Like you said, Maul's Zabrak brothers, as well as the Mando, those mercenaries battling, and it's so cool. But to see Maul, and of course he lands right
Mhm.
and further injures that knee, which again I think is critical, right? Because then when he battles two of them, he can't defeat them,
Mhm.
right? Or he's really strong. Whereas if he was at full strength, I think perhaps he could, don't you think?
Mhm.
As trained under Sidious that he could, but that injury, and he gets hit again,
Yeah.
right, on that leg. And so I just feel like that was perfectly done. Um, like you said, the when they're going behind the waterfalls and you
Yes.
look at their lightsabers and just the visual imagery, but just again, the crow, the eyes, the red eyes look so much more intimidating. And you're like, man, this is going down, man.
Mhm.
And it's I guess we can, you tell me when you want to get to how
Yep.
it ends and stuff, but it's incredible.
Oh no, absolutely. It is an incredible battle, and you mentioned it right off the bat. There, they go right into jump to the other bridge, go behind a waterfall, and continue this battle that's going on there. And what it is very intense fighting going on between Maul the Crow and Merrick, and to the point where Maul actually has to try to he almost tries to escape a little bit, outrun them and hide and do some trickery that he likes to do. But and you mentioned how well it was animated when the Crow and Merrick jumped through that waterfall. The first thing I noticed when they jumped through and they landed on the other side was the steam coming off the lightsaber from going through the water. I mean, that's just perfect animation. I mean,
Oh,
that's such a
oh.
clear attention to detail. It's just
Yeah.
spectacular.
Well, I think you said it last week that when you watch these the next time and the next time, you pick up on more.
Mhm.
And so, and when in my second viewing, I specifically looked for that as they jump through, and I looked at their swords, and you watch, like you said, the kind of the sizzle and the kind of the evaporation of water come right up, and then they quickly move on.
Mhm.
I wish I could look longer, but
Yes.
But yes, the second, the third viewings just stare at the gorgeousness.
Oh, absolutely. It is gorgeous, and uh, it works out so insanely crazy uh, through this battle. And we notice as they go, the Merrick and Crow separate while they're hunting for Maul, and Merrick ends up hearing the fight and continue and turns around and sees Maul and the Crow going at it. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, he jumps back in, and Maul, this battle with Maul, which is primarily the focus of this episode, it's very intense. And you're right, Maul cannot overcome these two enemies together. And he get every trick he tries, like force pushing them, they defend against. He's getting knocked down instead of them getting force pushed. It's just everything he does is airing out, to the point where he ends up on his deactivating his lightsaber, putting it down, throwing up his hands to surrender. And that's not a position I thought I would see Maul in this episode or in this series at all. What were your thoughts when you saw him move into that surrender?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is what I wanted to see from Inquisitors. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I kind of felt that way with the Grand Inquisitor in Rebels, like he's a formidable foe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't feel that way with Marok and Ahsoka, right? Seeing him
Yeah.
there. And I didn't feel that way, definitely didn't feel that way about the Crow. And so the way that the writers and like you said, the creators have done this, they've made the Inquisitors, the Inquisitorius, formidable foes. That's what you need. Again, they're not Vader level, they're not Emperor level, but I wanted them to be like this, that they can go out and take care of Jedi, deal with former Sith like Maul, and not just get knocked out in 5 seconds, right?
Correct.
And so um, it does make sense that at that point he's like, look, I've got to come up with something else, and of course he has something else up his sleeve. But I really really like this. This is what I wanted from the
Mm-hmm.
Inquisitorius, from these, and in particular these two Inquisitors, and so they do that, and again, Maul just has to really take a different route to escape because they really had bested him.
Oh, they most certainly had, and we see this as that fight's going on. Even his Zabrak followers try
Mhm.
to assist him and help him.
Mhm.
Scorn, which is the one that carries the Gatling gun type thing, jumps in to try to help, and ends up being killed by the Crow
Mhm.
in front of Maul, which provides just an even deeper hurt for Maul at that point. Um, and ultimately, like you hinted at, Maul's surrender was a ruse.
Mhm.
And I love this scene, because he's sitting there, his on his knees, his hands are up, his face is a look of defeat, and Merrick activates his lightsaber. It starts spinning, and the Crow and him are walking toward him, and and Merrick is like, "There's no surrender for you. The Emperor wants you dead."
Yeah.
And you thinking, is this the end? Which, if you're a Rebels fan, you know it's not. But is this the end? And at that point, as soon as he hears the Emperor wants him dead, Maul's face tightens up, and he's like, and I want him dead, and brings the roof down on top of them, uh, basically burying them, all of them alive.
Yeah.
And that's how that fight ends. We're still in episode 7. We haven't
Right.
even touched 8 yet,
Yeah.
which is crazy. But that's episode 7. And of
Mhm.
course, we still have the fight going on there on the bridge. We still need to talk about, and then, of course, all of episode 8. But Maul's secret plan once he hears that everything is gone. What were your thoughts when he said he wanted him dead too?
Oh, when he says likewise.
Likewise, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this plays into chapter 8, and
Mhm.
that just ringing in his ears. This the emperor wants you dead. There's no bringing you in. Like in Son of Dathomir. In fact, I looked at that comic a couple nights ago, just doing research for a special episode that you and I have coming up. Um, uh, the emperor saves him there, right? But here it's no, you're a threat. You become a rival, just like he says in season 5 of
Hmm.
the Clone Wars. But yeah, I like that he tells them, yeah, likewise, I want both of you dead. I want him dead. Yeah, right. The emperor and both of you. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It is very intense, an intense moment for that. And of course, we see them, and pretty much that's how the episode ends, is with that
Mhm.
closing scene. So we pick up with episode 8, which we're going to go ahead and tell you we're going to kind of split the coverage on episode 8. We're going to cover the details and the storyline and everything in this. But as you heard David allude to just a few moments ago, there's we got something special coming for you. So we'll go ahead and tell you about it now. That way you know what to expect. And that way you're not surprised with what we're about to talk about as we go through 8. There is so much psychological drama and material in this chapter. And it kind of starts in 7, but heavily in 8 that Maul is dealing with, that there's no way we could cover it in this episode. So we have decided that for our surprise May 4th episode,
Ace.
you will be getting a special psychology corner covering Maul's breakdown and trauma that you see occurring in this episode.
That's right. That's right.
So we that will be released the morning of May 4th. May the 4th be with you. So it's your weekend's going to be hugged by Star Wars reactions. Consider it a digital podcast hug. Friday and Monday.
Yeah. Daz over in Wales is going to be even happier about this. More content, more content, more.
More, give me more.
Yeah.
But yeah, so be on the lookout for that. That'll be coming out May 4th. But let's jump into chapter 8 and get into some of this, because there's a lot of great things happening here. And for
Mm,
me, one of the outside of Maul's trauma, the big thing that I liked about this episode is the awakening of Two Boots.
mhm.
Of course, we see him. He knows Riley has been captured, is being interrogated, and of course he is kind of torn about that. And he decides he's going to talk to the captain. Captain, I just blanked on
Oh,
her name. Not
Kleiss.
Lawson, Kleiss. Yes, Kleiss,
Yeah.
Captain Kleiss.
Yeah.
And that's when another officer's like, "You just don't get it, do you? She's dead." And
Yeah.
he's like, "She can't be dead. There's got to be an investigation and a trial and this and that." He goes, "No, dude, none of that happened. This is the Empire. She's dead. There is no talking to Captain Kleiss." So, or Chief Kleiss, excuse me.
Nice.
And of course you see it kind of perk up at that point. And he goes, and then he's at his desk, and then Lawson starts trying to call him because he needs help getting Riley back. And he's got there him and Lawson and Docky and Devin are outside of the hiding outside of the police station, doing their thing, trying to figure out how they're going to get Riley out. And he calls them up and he's like, look, this place is they end up getting a hold of him. He's like, this place is crazy. They got Riley in jail. They're telling me Chief Clash is dead. This is crazy. And he's like, listen, I want Riley. I'll make Lawson cuts him a deal. He's like, you bring Riley out, I will surrender myself. It'll make it a trade. So Two Boots does it. He goes, removes Riley from his cell, brings him outside. And as he's bringing him outside, he's stopped by two stormtroopers who are going to, quote unquote, confirm the orders because there's no transfers available today, which I'm sorry. I got to say this. That was so A New Hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
A New Hope.
Yeah.
And of course, at that point, Riley or Two Boots pulls out a blaster, stuns them both. Two more stormtroopers come out. He stuns them. They run outside. They meet up with Lawson, and then of course, more stormtroopers come. Two Boots tells them, "Deal's off. Let's get out of here." And of course, the fight to escape for them begins.
Uh-huh.
What were your thoughts with Two Boots awakening in this?
Well, it's good to see. You wish it would have been that he could pick up on it from Lawson, but he needed that other officer. He also needed that run-in with Blake, who
Mm-hmm.
pulls the coffee away, the calf away from him, and it just starts to click in. It's nice to see that that. It's not just following protocol, but you can actually learn too. Yeah, you are a droid. You can learn millions of languages. You can learn about what's going on here and see, what do we call it, the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
So it is good to see. We had hoped that this would happen. He would be part of actually helping Lawson and Riley potentially get off planet, right? We talked about that in a previous episode. But I want Two Boots to get his boots back as well.
I know, right?
I know. I thought they might show us that, like he might have grabbed him before he left the. Maybe he'll get some new ones, and we'll get to see those. We'll get to see those.
Yeah, it pulls him off a dead stormtrooper. These will
That's
fit.
right.
And keep throwing.
That'd be great. He has those on.
Little chopper moment. I like these. Let's go. That would be great. But we get a unique story here in this too, because we see a complete. One of the things I liked about this escape scene is the adaptive nature of the situation that Daki is going through. Daki, the master, because at the beginning of the series, he's telling Devin, "We don't steal, we don't steal. We survive on our own. We don't steal." Then he's like, "Go secure us a car. go secure us an escape vehicle." So she goes and she steals a vehicle, which is quite unique. Which I thought that was quite unique with that change in philosophy for him. As the situation changed, it has changed. What were your thoughts on the and really just the whole securing of the vehicle was humorous in and of itself. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, drastic times require drastic measures. Yeah, go secure a speeder. Yeah, go steal a speeder.
Yeah.
Basically is what Docky said. And my understanding is that that's D. Bradley Baker doing the voices, the little grunt. And he can create any sound in the world, right? At the drop of a hat. And so it was cool to see that. And that speeder that she takes, procures, borrows, steals, is so cool. So cool. And, and I would say that when she comes in to rescue them and hits a bunch of one or two of those speeders, knocks stormtroopers down, opens it up, and they jump in, and then the music that starts there is so cool because you talk about the music all the time. I just feel like they're I'm going to steal a line, hitting on all cylinders.
Yes.
And you're just pumping, and that whole chase sequence, I wrote that just incredible chase sequence with a super cool speeder. I love that, Lawson, as they're going, opens the door and he's fired back
Yes.
at them. It's so awesome.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's a fantastic chase scene, and you're right. The music played right into it. I mean,
Oh.
to be honest, when the music first started pumping as the vehicles, uh, as they were taking off, for a second there, I thought they were about to play "I Need a Hero." Do 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 do.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, there's no way.
Yeah.
Um, but I think my favorite part of that chase
Oh.
is, Lawson tells Devin, that's great for getting away for this after she really blows them out of the water with speed, the speeder bikes out of the water with speed. He goes like, that's great for getting away for them, but I ain't going to work on that. And he points at one of the gunships,
Oh.
which presents a new thing, a new challenge. And I love how they got rid of it because with not even a word, it's just that Padawan master look,
Mm-hmm.
and they go into action. And the car turns sideways, the door flies open, and Daki stands up and shoves one bike out of the way, and it explodes. Then takes the second one using the force and throws it
Mm.
into the gunship.
Oh, epic.
I mean, come on. Absolutely epic battle. I mean, it just was stinking awesome.
Oh.
In that escape, and of course it just, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
so good,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. Well, I think you might have mentioned this. I don't know if it's in when we covered the first two episodes. You got to forgive me, or maybe three and four. But in on Janix here, they
Hmm.
still haven't given us the name of the city, I don't think. But I think you might have noted that to a large extent, people are down on these roads,
Hmm.
right? In these roadways. And when the Empire comes, there's not a lot of speeders up in the air like Coruscant. So it differentiates it from Coruscant. But when the Empire comes, there's again the gunships. You see them flying through the air, not really people's personal speeders per se. And so to establish that from the first two episodes on, and most people are traveling along, they're hovering, but they're shooting through those roadways. It makes this chase scene so cool, right? So
Hmm.
they're there. They're not up like say episode two, Anakin and Obi-Wan in a speeder and a chasing. They're down there, but to be able to throw a speeder bike versus up in the air, right? We don't have
Yep.
speeder bikes up, in the skyways of Coruscant. So that really makes by establishing that, it really makes this possible. Then those speeders come, and like you said, Daki just throws it right up into a gunship, which is up there flying,
Hmm.
but it's come down low. But I think by establishing that for the most part, the civilians are down on these roadways, um, it really flows into this chase scene, and it works.
Oh yeah, it really does. The chase scene makes the
Hmm.
is one of those key parts of this episode. And of course the escape that they're making is to try to meet up with Rena Saul, who has
Hmm.
messaged them and told them, hey, I got a ship, you have 2 hours to get here, let's go. And of course that's why they're racing to get across town to get to Rena, to get to the ship so they can escape. um, and of course they get there, and after making their escapes from everybody, because there was really nobody chasing them after they got the rid of the
Gunship.
gunship. Yeah, I can't think of what it was called. The
Yeah.
gunship. Um, so they continue on. They get there, and as they're in the elevator going down to the place, they sort of start questioning can we trust what's happening here. And it starts with Devin. You could tell she's standing in the elevator, and her posture changes. She's like, "I something's wrong. We need to go back up." And it ends up being uh, Lawson calls her, and she makes a statement that kind of clues him in. Hey,
Hmm.
this is not where you need to be.
Yeah.
And so they go, and of course end up making their escape by cutting through the elevator and escaping. And of course she takes Rena, of course, then sacrifices appears, let me repeat that, appears to have
Yeah.
sacrificed herself by blowing up the ship and giving them a chance to make their getaway.
Yeah. And it looks like Blake is killed, right? The
Hmm.
Imperial captain or whatever he is right now down there in charge. Tons of stormtroopers, but the Crow and Marak, um, they don't.
They
They're blown.
survive.
They survive, of
They
course.
survive
Yes, yes,
alive.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so
yeah.
it's a unique situation too, because now instead of being escaping, we have all of our heroes essentially on the run together now. We have the Jedi, we have Daki and Lawson, and Devin and Riley, and now we got two boots as well. So hell, the gang's all here,
Mm-hmm.
and they're now going to be on the run together. Obviously, in these what will be our last two episodes that come out soon. But it's a start to it gives us a good start to build to the finale at this point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like you said at the end, it was interesting to see them going to Nicodemus's old lair that we'd seen in a previous episode, and the communique that Vario gets um, from a representative of Dryden Voss.
Hmm.
And what does that look like? Because we do see him right briefly in what season 7 of the Clone Wars,
Yes.
when it's kind of like Maul is standing there with Rook, Cass, and the command,
Hmm.
what is it? Mandalorians. They're all
Yeah.
standing there, and I'm trying to remember everyone that's in that. I should have looked
Well,
at
it's the
that.
whole Shadow
The
Collective
Shadow, all the
leadership.
Pikes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There you go.
Pikes, Black Sun, all of them
And
are
then,
there.
yeah.
All of
So
them except the Huts.
yeah, is Dryden Voss the head of Crimson Dawn
Yes.
right now? Okay, okay, all right. And so, like you said, do we see more of that in these next two? Again, the other thing that everyone has talked about is, do we
Well,
see Maul face Vader, or is that going to be season 2?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and here's my thing. I'm trying to wrap my head around with
Mm,
them bringing up uh Dryden Voss, because
yeah.
between the fall of the Empire of the Republic, Revenge of the Sith,
Hmm.
and A New Hope, it's what 30 some years,
I think 19 years.
19
19.
years. Okay.
Right, because then Luke is 19, or right? 19,
Yeah,
and
true. Okay.
yeah, he's born,
Yeah.
him and
Okay.
Leia,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. I don't know where I got 36. That was,
Yeah.
that's,
Well, I think from end of Jedi up
two.
to
That's
Force
right.
Awakens, about
Okay.
30 years. Yeah.
I was looking at the wrong timeline. So, but even then, 19.
Hmm.
So if Dryden, let's play conservative numbers here. We know 5 years before A New Hope, we have um, the Solo movie, which is it takes place about 5 years before A New Hope. So 15 years after, 14, 15 years after um, Revenge of the Sith. This is supposed to take place a year later after Revenge of the Sith. So
I hear people say a year, 2 years,
year, 2 years. So you're
year and a
looking.
half.
So you're looking conservatively. If Voss is in his what, say 40s in Solo,
Hmm.
he's going to be leading Crimson Dawn in his mid 20s.
About, yeah,
It just seems
yeah.
seems young for a crime boss like that. I don't know. So
Yeah, that's what it wasn't super clear to me. Is it, yeah, or what age is he? I mean, because
yeah,
when we see him in Solo, he's got the weird skin, and that kind of flares up. Remember that?
yeah.
And so on. But yeah, I guess I just didn't know if, because right in Solo, we believe, well, we don't believe, we are told that basically Maul is the head of Crimson Dawn and Dryden Voss is under him,
Oh yeah,
right?
no,
And
absolutely,
under
yeah,
him, and he's like
yeah,
number 2,
yeah.
or
He's in
with
charge of
Kira,
Crimson Dawn, and
yeah,
he reports
yeah,
to
to
Maul.
Maul, yeah. And when he's killed, Kira goes up to number 2, right? I
Correct.
think. Okay.
Correct. She steps in
Okay.
Voss's spot. So
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. All right. Because I know I had seen a couple people voice online. Oh yes, we're getting Dryden Voss. Maybe we'll see Kira. And I'm sitting there doing the math. I'm like,
No.
in diapers, maybe. I mean,
Right.
but
Right. Because how
it's
young she is in Solo.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see Amelia Clark back in Star Wars.
Right.
She's a fantastic actress, but it just seems too early for
Yeah.
Kira at this
Yeah.
point. So,
Yeah.
um, from that, of course, that kind of wraps things up there. But we do have, of course, I'm not going to sit here and ignore what's happening with Maul in this episode. We'll go into detail of it in the next episode when we do our May 4th special we mentioned. But Maul is on a journey at this point. He is alone. He is injured. He has been defeated. He is going through a uh, rainbow of emotions and uh, it's a journey. I can't. I just can't. I keep going back to the saying, you have to hit rock bottom before you can move back up, and he's on that fall,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's an incredible fall, and it gives us so many images during this time that we kind of have to mention. We get flashbacks to young Savage Opress and Maul when Sidious first takes them. We get flashbacks to Sidious training a young Maul. Of course, you hear the fight from Phantom Menace. You get glimpses of the return of Maul from um, the Clone Wars.
Right.
Then, of course, you see again Savage being murdered by Sidious. I mean, all these images parading around in his head
Mm-hmm.
as what's going on, and it's just absolutely insane to see how well this traumatic journey was put together for Maul, and
Yeah.
how well it was animated. But not only that, how well Sam did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And without going into anything to spoil what's coming up in our next episode,
Mm-hmm.
what are your thoughts
Mm-hmm.
generally about this Maul journey?
Well, I think you and I said from the very first time we did episode 1 and 2 that we knew that this series, it was already setting the stage that there was going to be so many mini psychology corners I could do. I want to do this obviously big psychology corner on Maul for May the 4th. Um, so it's just juicy. There's so much. There's
Mhm.
so much material to talk about here. I think maybe the best way to sum this up in a general way, and I'm giving full credit to Dan Zaire from Coffee with Kenobi. He has Tom Gross on
Okay.
this week to cover. They dropped the episode today, which is Thursday, April 30th. Ours will drop tomorrow, Friday, May 1st. But I want to make sure I do this because I tease Dan that even though he's an English teacher, he's a psychologist, and what he talks about is, and I really liked it, is again full credit to Dan. He says that what you see in Maul here, to sum it up, is a breakthrough, but it doesn't mean he fully changes because, and you referred to it a few minutes ago, if you know Rebels, you see him trying to manipulate and work over Ezra, right? So it's not like he changes from the same way, like he's trying to work over Devin now. In Rebels, we see him doing it on Malachor, right?
Yeah.
But there is a breakthrough, but breakthroughs don't mean that you change for the better.
Yep.
He breaks down, has a breakthrough. Obviously, like you said, Sam's voice changes, says, I'm never going to let uh, Sidious do this to someone else again.
Mm.
Again, that skill of Sam doing the voices in different ways. He's so good. But I thought Dan really summarized it in a really succinct manner there. Whereas in the special, I'll go through a lot more details for people and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Very good. Very good. The one thing I wanted to mention about it, and I'm glad you brought up the voice change. I have
Mm,
not listened to Coffee with Kenobi. It dropped today. I had I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. But with that voice change, and I don't know if you caught on to it like I did, but Maul throughout this series has had that same aura that he had during the Clone Wars. That sophisticated that sophisticated, better than you
Yeah.
sophistication. But after the break, when he starts talking again and he's getting that anger and fire in his voice, I heard the Maul from Rebels. I heard the plan in action, that manipulative, focused, broken Maul from Rebels that has only one thing on his mind at this point. He has it on his mind before, but the focus is more crystal clear than ever after that. And I can hear that voice distinction between the two Mauls that we see in this.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Voice changes can help, right? And I do think that he does go from, like you said, being strong, his voice, his posture, to there's the breakthrough, right?
Yes.
Realizing that, he initially does slap the water at the beginning of these series of visions, saying he hates it. But then at the end, the breakthrough is, okay, yes, that did happen to me. I did, didn't really make a decision. There was no decision to be made. Here's, young Savage saying, don't go with him. Like, yeah, right. Like, either one of you are going to do anything about that. So, but yeah, I could sit and watch Sam record Star Killer, Maul, and all that, and just watch his skill get recorded in all these episodes. But it's so well done, and he does say, in some of the going back to some of the press junkets. Sam says that he's very, I don't know, he's very forgiving of other people and their work, and this is when he was on Pot of Rebellion back just before they covered the Twilight of the Apprentice, those two episodes, and he says, but when it's something he works on, right? If it's Maul or anything in Star Wars, he says, I'm brutal on myself. I'm brutal. I really I want to get it exactly right, which is really cool for him to see or to say, Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to touch on for these before we go wrap everything up with our final reactions?
Yeah, just Devin and Riley have a conversation very briefly where, he's talking about being scared when he was interrogated by the Crow, and Riley says, quote, fear is natural. We just can't allow it to control us, unquote. Mini psychology corner here. We'll get to the big one on May the 4th, a full blown psychology corner. But in this one, again, how many times have you and I discussed this, and just this core aspect of fear? It's in all of us humans since the beginning of time. Before any of us recording this, you or me or anybody listening to this, it was around before we were born. Fear, it'll be around after we're gone. But it is such a huge thing. I worked with children and adolescents and their parents for years here in Ocala. I've spoken about that on previous psychology corners. Now, for the last 14 years, I've worked with people primarily 50 and up from every state in this country who have retired here to Central Florida. And guess what? Just a different set of fears in your 60s, 70s, and 80s than it was in your teens and 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s. And guess what? It's just dealing with those and, using different skills throughout all of those decades. But again, we could go into such depth on this. I know Riley says very quick, we just can't allow it. Easier said than done. We just can't allow it to control us. I want that for every human being on the planet, but yes, easier said than done. And I think Riley's face conveys that because we don't know how that interrogation went down. There's something I maybe might be more revealed about that but that's a pretty scary thing because I think they even had the crow duck to come into, right. That was an intimidating thing. I don't know that he
Yeah.
really had to, but he ducks to come in to start interview or interrogating Riley. But that'll send some shivers up your spine seeing that cat walk in to interrogate you.
Oh
Um,
gosh, will it ever?
versus a human, right? A human face and all that stuff. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It'll definitely make you think twice. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I just wanted to do a real quick mini psychology corner there.
That works. That works. So, all right. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into final reactions for episode 7 and 8. I will kick it off because uh, I got to say, I loved these episodes. If I have to say, with as intense as these episodes were, um, if we haven't done it with this series, like we had done in series in the past. But if we were grading it, this would have been an A+ for me because this was just perfect on all fronts for me. Um, but the animation, the shades of light versus dark, the music, all played into a perfect performance coming from Sam Witwer. And I it to me, we got 2 episodes left, including the finale, and I can't. I say this each week. I can't see it getting better than this, and they keep topping it off each week. So, um, yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. How about you, brother?
Well, to piggyback off what you said, like, how do you top it? And again, going back to that press, and I mentioned this before, maybe even in our coverage of the first 2 episodes, when they interview Brad Rao, Athena Portillo, and Miknevitz. I heard Vanessa Marshall say it this time, how to say his last name, Matt Miknevitz, not Mitchnevitz, Miknevitz. When those three are talking, one of the people on this roundtable, right, the podcasters got to interview and ask questions of those three showrunners, basically. And someone had asked, what are your favorite episodes? And all of them had seen the first 8, right? But then you see almost, I think all three, definitely Brad Rao, right, who worked extensively, right, obviously a showrunner on Bad Batch.
Yep.
He said, I think the last 2, 9 and 10. So he's saying he feels that those 2 are better than these 2, 7 and 8. And you're like, holy crow. All right, let's go. Holy crow, pun intended.
Yeah.
Right. And, I was going to say this. I was looking in the credits. I want to give a shout out. Ewan McGregor, right, as Obi-Wan. They have him in there. And I'll mention this more in uh, the full psychology corner on Maul's trauma journey, but Sam Witwer does Maul, he does Sidious and young Savage Press, which is pretty wild. Um, I'm with you. If I graded it, it'd be an A+. And so what does that mean? 9 and 10 or A double plus? I don't know. So,
Who knows?
wow.
Who knows?
Yeah,
We'll find out Monday. So,
that's right.
all right. Well, we want to hear from you and hear your thoughts on Maul and these 2 chapters as well. You can hit us up on any of our social media with Facebook and X at SW Reactions Pod, then Blue Sky and Instagram and Pinterest and Threads and YouTube and Tumblr, all at SW Reactions. You can, of course, hit us up via email at swreactions@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/Star Wars Reactions. David, if somebody wants to talk Star Wars with you, how would they go about doing that, my friend?
Yeah, I think 2 simple ways. One, just Instagram at David Motters or our show socials. You've always forwarded stuff to me when
Mm-hmm.
people send it in. So those are 2 quick ways to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Of course, you can always hit me up on any of the show socials or on my own personal, well, mostly Instagram nowadays at TA Harris 121079. But I'm also on X at the same place, same handle. So look me up there. Whew. David, you ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready? All right.
Yeah.
Well, in honor of the NHL playoffs and Maul, we are going to have a very special Star Wars dad joke of the week. And here we go. What is Maul's favorite hockey team?
Oh no! What is Maul's favorite hockey team?
The Sabres.
Oh my God! The
Hey,
Buffalo
the
Sabres.
Sabres. But better yet, what's Palpatine's favorite hockey team?
I think I can answer this. The Lightning.
Yes.
Tampa Bay Lightning. Those are
Uh,
good. Those are good,
those
man.
work. Those work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that about wraps it up. David, my friend, this has been a blast.
It has been a blast. I just want to encourage people to keep their ears out, their eyes out, for that special on Monday, May the 4th. Obviously, this will drop on Friday, the 1st, but, and, if they like it, tell other people to listen in.
Absolutely. Please do. Please do. Share it. Your word of mouth is better than any advertising we try to do. So we definitely appreciate that. So make sure you have your podcatchers on and get ready for this episode dropping May 1st. And of course, our special May 4th episode coming out Monday. So be on the lookout for those. So well, we appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out with us this week. We love y'all. We're praying for y'all, wishing y'all the best. Remember to do something kind to somebody this week. Make the world a better place. Remember, this is your place for elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars. All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and the respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.